Hi, how are ya? It's finally time for the mother off of all mother offs in the Pokemon universe. If you're clicking this video and you have no idea where you are, I highly recommend you check out the playlist, just the videos and types that you're interested of how girly pop each and every one of your favorite Pokemon of each type is. Over these past few months, the girly pops and I have been taking the time to figure out just how girly pop each and every one of the Pokemon are, and the Pokemon that really exceed expectations become mother. So now it's time to figure out which Pokemon really is the biggest mother of all Pokemon. And if you don't know what mother is, I don't know. Look, I'm gonna be real. Google is free. We're going to be putting all these Pokemon on our ranking system, and I'll be honest, I was going back and forth on if we should modify some things because these are all technically mothers of their own type, but I think that this rating system still holds up for this conversation. If they end up in Skip, it's just like, I don't know, they flopped, but in a really slay way. For those of you who like the new graph that I custom made, I'm really sorry that we have to return to tiermaker.com, but in all honesty, as you can see, we have a lot of Pokemon to talk about. I might not even record all of this in one day because, look, I can yap, but this is a real yap challenge for me, and I have to make sure that I don't overwork my instrument, you know? Butterfree, since the beginning of its inception, has really stood the test of time. It's the butterfly Pokemon. It's got that silhouette. It's the one that newcomers, old heads, everybody has a memory with Butterfree, and I feel like we all respect her for it. I just still feel comfortable in putting Butterfree into mother. Gigantamax Butterfree is it's when we're trying to look into the specifics of like what each Pokemon represents for the franchise, for their fellow girly pops, really leading the pack of the girly pop sort of subcategory that we've all started to notice is happening in the Pokemon universe. I just think that like Gigantamax forms really aren't giving what we need. I think that the Mega forms are leaning more into the gimmick forms that we prefer, or at least that I prefer. That being said, there are some really standout Gigantamax forms. I think Butterfree is one of them. Now, I want to say that because it's Gigantamax, it's okay. I just think that when time goes on, we're going to forget about the Gigantamaxes, even the really good ones. Alolan Raichu is such a unique Pokemon. Like, oh my goodness. See, y'all really wanted to put me in a tough spot because I really want to give so many of these Pokemon mother, like, right off the bat. I think Alolan Raichu is, like, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, one of the most girly pop Pokemon of all time. It's got such a cool mix of typings, and the way that they represented it, and its look and its design really still is a standout.
Mother.
Okay, the Alolan Sandshrew line. Immediately, I'm comparing it to the other Alolan Ice Regional. I think that these Pokemon are really cute, considering the fact that they're ice types. They have like that natural eleganza that we enjoy. Ice types are very often girly pop, but in this mishmash of just slay after slay after slay, I can't help but feel like they are the weak ones. I'm going to put them in Sandshrew, I'm going to put in okay. Sandslash, I'm going to put in looks around. What does Nidoqueen represent? I feel like Nidoqueen represents a lot to us. I think that this race is starting to leave Nidoqueen. She's still really iconic. There's not really any other Pokemon that are trying to step into her spot, right? I'm gonna put Nidoqueen in girly pop. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I think Clefairy and Clefable, they were the fairy type before the fairy type. I feel like they're the catalyst for the fairy type. The way that the fairy type is executed in the lore, and the designs, and how they play a role in the Pokemon universe, it's all derivative of the impact of Clefairy and Clefable. I'm going to put Clefairy into mother. I'm going to put Clefable into girly pop because I think of the two, Clefairy is the iconic one of that evolution tree. Is it a hot take to say that between Ninetales and Alolan Ninetales, their story together, the regional helped to update and keep Ninetales itself contemporary? Thinking about that, it makes me think about Nidoqueen, and I'm like, oh, maybe Nidoqueen needs like a regional that just really enhances the sleigh further. Because Ninetales is okay, and Alolan Ninetales to me is mother. I don't know, not only did it save the legacy of Ninetales, not saying that Ninetales really was in danger, but it really did keep her at the front of the pack. And the fallout of it just makes Ninetales, the original, still like quite fresh and contemporary. Jigglypuff, I mean, she's one of like the mascot icons. She represents girly popology before even some of us were a twinkle in our parents' eye. I want to say that Jigglypuff is mother. If there was like a unit, if there was like a marching army of girly pops, she would be one of the first ones in the front. Right? I don't think that that's like a contentious thing to say. I don't think that's controversial. I think we all know the impact of the mother, Jigglypuff. Vileplume. I don't know how else to weave this joke in, so I'm just gonna go boom, 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 boom. One of my favorite pictures I've ever made on Photoshop, ever. I just want to, one more time, boom, like, one more time. I just think it's funny. Vileplume, I don't know, maybe this is... I don't know. Maybe this is something that we're going to notice about the poison type as we pit them all against the other mothers of the other types. But look at who's at the top right now. Bug type, electric type, but more so the psychic type carrying it. So we have bug type, psychic type, fairy, ice, normal. Are we surprised? Vileplume is a really fun Pokemon. There's some grass resonance there with it. I just don't feel like she's really comparing to the mothers, even though like she's gotten mother accolades before. In this situation, she's girly pop. Alolan Dugtrio, the most expensive wigs in the Pokemon universe. I think that this gimmick just doesn't really stand. I don't think that this gimmick is really serving what we need. In its separate typing, in its specific circumstance, that's entertaining, that's fun. It's a fun contribution to what girly pop could be for its typing. But when we are deep into girly popology, when we're deep into ranking the mothers, it just doesn't feel right. Skip. Ooh, but see, let me tell you, I do love Alolan Dugtrio, but in this situation, the conversation is not a conversation. Skip. Alolan Meowth, serving girly pop in every way. Really a great option. So a Pokemon that we really love, and if we were to do a full girly pop team, Alolan Meowth would be a fun accessory. And you know what I say about the OKs, right? They're more of an accessory. I think Alolan Meowth is okay. Gigantamax Meowth, and Gigantamax Meowth is just one big comedic, like goofy gimmick. And if you want to know how I feel about a Gigantamax Meowth, I really do think this design is so fun and creative, but not here. Skip. Alolan Ponyta got mother because it got the same judgment that I gave Clefable to Clefairy, in that I feel like Alolan Ponyta is the one that we all think of when we think of the Alolan Ponyta line. Rapidash got the same treatment as well, but vice versa. I think that Alolan Ponyta, if we're talking about girly pop, is really girly pop. Did I say Alolan? I meant Galarian. Galarian Ponyta. Galarian Ponyta, I can't help but compare it to Alolan Ninetales, and I think that Alolan Ninetales did that serving a little bit better, and that Galarian Ponyta is more of like the fallout of it. It's like, ooh, I didn't know that the girly pops played this game. When we made Alolan Ninetales, they bought that up. Let's do it again, but with Ponyta. It's fun, but it's just girly pop today. Rapidash, in all honesty, I don't think that it's serving horse girl realness the same way that Ponyta is in its Galarian form. Rapidash looks around. Dewgong is cute, but Dewgong is more like an accessory. Like, right off the bat, we have a pretty tight race between the girly pops and the mothers. Let me know what you think so far, but I really do think that this is a pretty tight race. Like, I have to really scrutinize each and every one of these Pokemon, and I just don't think that Dewgong is in competition with the upper categories. I'm gonna say it's okay. Marowak comes from, I think, the ground conversation. The ground type Pokemon are a little bit weaker, and I think it's starting to show, right? Let's check. Alolan Dugtrio is a ground type. Original Marowak, a ground type. One of my favorite typings of all time is the ground type. But look at what we're talking about here. It's really unfortunate because I do want to see the ground type or even the rock type have a standout, and maybe we will. Marowak looks around. Hitmonlee. That's a skip. I know that there's at least 230 Pokemon in here, so if we were rounding low, I don't think that Hitmonlee is contributing anything to the Pokemon girly pop conversation when there's 229 other options. Kangaskhan. I'm just a little bit bored. I'm a little bit bored. I have to be a little bit tougher here. I'm a little bit bored. I'm gonna say that Kangaskhan is looks around. I'm gonna say that Mega Kangaskhan is the same thing. Looks around. Horsea. We have a back-to-back water type icon like trio of like lines that we're talking about here coming up. So let's do that because I think all of these are Misty Mons, if I'm correct. Horsea is girly pop. Goldeen is, I think that Goldeen is mothering because Goldeen has more conversations happening around it. Staryu, girly pop, and Starmie is girly pop. I'm gonna put Staryu actually in okay. Actually, Staryu's going and looks around. I just think when we are trying to build a team, we love Staryu and the line, but Starmie is the one that we're going for. Lapras. Now this is an undeniable 1, 2, 3. What now?
Mother.
Eevee, when compared to the other mothers, is kind of giving Pikachu. The girls who get it. She's kind of giving Pikachu. You know what? I feel like this is more of a fringe thought. Those of us who are getting what I'm saying might be a little bit more on the cutting edge. I feel like maybe some other people might be wanting to catch up. In a few months, they're gonna get what we're saying. For now, Eevee's girly pop. I'm gonna still put Vaporeon in mother. I think that she's always been a Pokemon that girly pops new and old have always been drawn to. A canon experience of girly pops is that we have always found a way to put a Vaporeon on our team. Gigantamax Eevee, really cute, but it's not even like giving glamour the same way that Gigantamax Butterfree was. And this far into the experience of Pokemon, this far away from Generation 8, I'm bored. Skip. Articuno. Entering into the ice conversation when we already have Lapras. Chronologically, Alolan Ninetales did not come yet, but after Alolan Ninetales, it did get knocked down a peg. It's giving legendary. Y'all know how I feel about legendaries. They're a little bit overplayed, not because the designs are bad or anything, but because they have so much written and important. I really feel like it fogs up a lot of people's analysis of what type of serve that they give. Articuno's looks around for me. Galarian Articuno updates a bit, but I'm just not feeling it. It's okay. Jatinky, girly pop. Dragonair, mother. The first dragon type entry into the mother category, that's really interesting. And like after we've had these conversations and we've had other videos where we've talked about the dragon type in different perspectives, you can see what I'm talking about when it's like the dragon type just kind of lost its aura for a couple generations after the Dragonite line. Dragonair was like so girly pop and then like nothing happened for a couple generations. But we love her because I feel like if Dragonair did not exist, we might have a different relationship with the dragon type. Like she really had to sit there at the beginning and be like, have faith in this typing. Soon you'll get what you desire in a final evolution. Just hold out for a couple decades. Mew, the girly pop legendary, really still is the pink prince. Mother. Chikorita and Meganium. Different conversation in the grass type, right? Because as a grass starter, they are really significant to us, and it's really important for us to identify that they're mothers. But when we have 228 other options, ooh, that's interesting. Chikorita is okay. Meganium is also okay. Lantern, a really creative water type, a really creative electric type. But do we care here? It looks around. Togepi. Togepi is kind of like Jigglypuff. Togepi is kind of like Clefairy. Togepi is kind of like Eevee, but it's also like the baby, so it was never meant to be in the spotlight, and that really shows today. It's okay. Togetic. I do think that Togetic has successfully created its own identity away from Togepi, which is really funny because Clefairy was unable to do that with Clefable. Jigglypuff was unable to do that with Wigglytuff. Togetic did do that. I'm gonna give Togetic girly pop. The Mareep line. So as we're going, I think I'm noticing that a lot of these deliberations require a contemplation and consideration on the history, but also the design, and also like a sort of like concept workshop of like a team that you could build around it, which one would you choose to have the most optimal, maximum girly pop serve? I think that latter portion is the most important part of the discussion with this line. Because, I mean, it was a pretty tough race, and the entire line made it to Mother. Mareep, I'm gonna say his looks around in this situation. Ampharos is okay. I think Flaffy is the most girly pop, and I'm gonna give it girly pop, but not Mother. I don't think that this line has mothered in the same way that like Alolan Raichu has for the electric type. Blossom. Blossom. Yeah. Maybe it's because of the stem that she gave me when I was a 10-year-old playing Smash Bros. But I do think that Blossom is like kind of famous, and she's always gonna be, so that's Mother. Meryl and Azumarill. We love them. We do love them. Oh, and like when they're in this like situation, you can see just how like they are the girls. Like, you know, out of all the girls in the room, who would be the three? I'm sorry to say it, but if Meryl and Azumarill both entered, 2 slots are taken. I'm gonna put Meryl in girly pop. I'll put Azumarill in Mother. Politoed. One of my favorites. I think that if I was one of the people watching this video, I would skip to the Politoed section and be like, girl, please put my favorite in Mother. But have they contributed much to the girly pop conversation, or are they just benefiting from the presence and reverence for girly pop in the Pokemon universe? You get what I'm saying? Let's put Politoed in girly pop. Yeah, Jumpluff. I did exercise my bias and put Jumpluff in to Mother. I don't know. I think Jumpluff is an objective Mother, but I could be wrong. But she's here. I do think that Jumpluff is like the floating cotton Pokemon, and I do think that she has her own lineage that she has created. But I'll be honest, I do think that someone else may have taken the reins on like the floating cotton type Pokemon. I'll say that Jumpluff, it's girly pop. Just let me have it. I'm just gonna put it in girly pop, okay? Just let me have it, please. You know, I've honestly thought about this placement. Putting both of the Whoopers in Mother was really interesting, and I stand by it. But in this situation, I think that we really see the weakness. I'm gonna put the Paldean form of Whooper into looks around, and also Whooper itself into looks around. Maybe okay. Espeon is Mother. I mean, just vote. Like, I already knew that she was going to be Mother. Just vote. Umbreon. Just vote. We already know that it's not going to be like Espeon. Just vote. It's okay. Umbreon is like really fun to have as girly pops, but it's the accessory to our Espeon, right? Like when we're running an Espeon Umbreon duo, Umbreon is there for the contrast to Espeon. Umbreon is there for the juxtaposition, for that fun gimmick. But Espeon is the star of the show. And if you're one of the people watching this video who thinks vice versa, that's fine. I
Just think that the pink one is better.
You know what? Shout out to Shuckle for being the only rock type to be able to get girly pop. Thank you, Shuckle. Oops, let's do Mega Ampharos. I'm trying my best to do the Mega or like gimmick forms as we hit like the original like base evolution tree, but look, girl, y'all see how many Pokemon I have to deal with. I'm gonna lose track of some. Mega Ampharos, returning to the Ampharos line, Mega Ampharos. Mega Ampharos, in all honesty, is one of those Pokemon, one of those Mega evolutions that keeps reminding me why Mega evolutions are the better form. So Mega Ampharos is Mother. Ooh, that one feels like people are gonna leave a comment saying that they don't agree with me, but I just think that it's Mother. I do think that it's doing what it needs to do. Hisuian Sneasel. Great design. I think Sneasel's a very like girly pop Pokemon, but she's not one of the ones who are sitting here in representation of girly popology. She's not one of the ones that are like really sitting at the table having this discussion. She's just kind of like Whooper. I'm gonna say that it's looks around. Corsola. Oh, another rock type. Benefiting a little bit from having like some wateriness, but she's pink, she's cute. We've loved her since she came out. Corsola is Mother, and Corsola is the reason why we had the rock type conversation, one of them. You know, like we touched on that when we did the rock type video. It was like, At first, we didn't really know if we wanted to like do all the types. And then we thought about Corsola and we were like, yeah, we got to talk about the rock type. And Corsola's there. Corsola's there, and I think that Corsola has made a really early and long-term investment into the rock type, because when the rock type does have its explosion, because the pendulum always what? Swings. When that pendulum swings into the rock type's favor, Corsola will be there as the leader of the pack in the first one. You know, like, she's establishing a legacy that I think she's still cooking. Fanfi, there's not really much to say. It's cute, it's girly pop, but it's not doing anything. I do think that it would be fun to have on a team. It's okay. Miltank. I think Miltank is a mother. I think Miltank is a mother, and I will say this. We are in desperate need of Miltank representation. We need like something in like Masters, or like some sort of side game that has Miltank being a principal character, a regional, some sort of thing to put Miltank back into the spotlight, because she's gonna go down a girly pop soon. Soon. If nothing happens, you know, because we get new Pokemon every generation, we get new serves every generation, new contributions, and Miltank hasn't really had a chance to re-debut. Blissey. Blissey's a pretty standard girly pop. I think, yeah, she's a pretty standard girly pop. Suicune is girly pop to me. We might return to that. I have to remind myself to like make adjustments, because we might have to return to that. Celebi. I'm gonna also say that Celebi is girly pop. It's not doing anything new from Mew. It's just like a new version of Mew. We love the design. She got Mother in her respective video. But we really have to split hairs. We really have to consider, like, what have they contributed? Is it something new? Is it something fresh? And I think you got to do a little bit of both if you want to follow in the footsteps of something else. Like, some of these Pokemon that are entering Mother are doing something just completely brand new. Some of them that are entering Mother are adding something new. Celebi's not really doing that. Now, Blaziken, I think in this conversation, I gave my flowers. In this conversation, I don't think that Blaziken has a lot to say. Skip. Mudkip. Ooh, Mudkip. I know Mudkip wishes that I did this video and recorded this video before Warrabito showed up, because I've always thought that Mudkip had a look in her eyes, a secret that she has been holding on to for decades now. And now we know what that secret is. Ooh, Mudkip. Could you imagine Mudkip? How different it would be if Warrabito was around. Still cute though, still cute. I'm gonna give it okay. Now, Galarian Zigzagoon does something for the dark type. I really do think that it does something for the dark type. I think that Galarian Zigzagoon, yeah, it did something for the dark type. I'm gonna put it in Mother, because I was like having this feeling with the poison type too after Nidoqueen, and then like looking at like Hisui and Sneasel, and who else was it? There was like another poison type that showed up, Vileplume. I was like, in our conversation of girly popology, we were noticing that like things like maybe the bug type, the grass type, the psychic type, the fairy type, there's a lot of girly pop there that like a lot of the argument, it kind of lends itself to like being more understandable. But then we have like things like the poison type and the dark type that have connotations of being a little bit more mysterious, a little bit less like kawaii, cutesy, usagi, Sailor Moon coded, and more like edgy goth girl coded. And like that does have its own special resonance with girly pop, but it's a little bit more fringe. I think that Galarian Zigzagoon showed you that you can be like dark type, you can be punk, and you can be really girly pop about it. So I want to give flowers to that. Ralts itself, when we're thinking about just specifically a girly pop lens, Ralts is looks around. Curlia is girly pop, and Gardevoir is
Mother.
I just think that Gardevoir still to this day stands as one of the most iconic girly pop Pokemon. Gardevoir is kind of like, I mean, look at the timeline of it, right? Gardevoir really did introduce a lot of really significant silhouettes that are specifically attributed to girly popology, and she still kind of is in the front of that. Mega Gardevoir, though, especially in comparison to some of the other Mega Evolutions, and considering that she is like the Dawn Diva of girly popology, I've always found that the Mega Evolution of Gardevoir to be A little bit disappointing. I'm gonna say that it's okay. Hi, so I'm a genius, and when I was recording one of my favorite generations, which is Generation 3, I forgot to put any audio in it. I was not recording the audio at all. So enjoy these funny little screenshots of me while I discuss why each of these Pokemon are in their placements. Surskit, the icon, the legend. I believe that between Surskit and Masquerain, Surskit is Mother and Masquerain is Girly Pop. I just think that Surskit, really the more and more I've been watching the anime because I've been researching for contests and seeing the clips that people send me and things like that, Surskit really is the representative girly pop of its evolution tree. You all know I love Shedinja, and many of us can agree that Shedinja really does eat. But I don't think that she's really mothering. I think that she just stands alone. Like, she really is in her own lane, and she's not really carving out anything for the girly pops. She's just here to show what girly pop is. Skitty is for sure mothering. I mean, do I have to explain this? This video is already an hour long. Girl, get into it. Delcatty's kind of got the same situation with Skitty. Like, Skitty is the one that represents the evolution tree. And weirdly enough, I feel like Delcatty is such a separation in terms of identity that I had to put it down in okay. Mawile is in girly pop. Hot take, but I just don't think that Mawile has done anything in the past like 5 to 7 years. Metacham is mothering, and Metacham really shows what the potential of the fighting type is. I can't help but recall its legacy. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the anime where it's participating in the contest. It has so much charm, and you really have to dig in to understand what it's contributing to girly popology. Mega Metacham goes into okay, because we're just so far removed from Megas at this point, and I've been talking about Megas for months, and the more I talk about it, the more I realize that I'm just pining for the Halcyon days of something that might not ever come back. And mine in a girly pop, they would be mothering because they're giving Pikachu a run for her money, and they are a really fun concept, but I just honestly feel like the only person who remembers them. The crazy thing about Roselia is that even though she debuted in Gen 3, she still feels like one of the most modern serves that we've gotten. She just blends into every single Pokédex that she's in after Generation 3. She really has aged like a tree or like a rose bush, you know? Spinda's in okay. Love Spinda. She's amazing. She's funny. She's got a really fun gimmick and a really fun design, but she's not really sitting at the front of the pack for girly pops. She's definitely a fun accessory to add. And Flygon did something amazing for the ground type, but I'm putting it in looks around because it just doesn't really give that full girly pop dragon type serve that we've been looking for just yet. Swablu is in okay. And Altaria is in girly pop because I think that Altaria really represents why we love that line. I put the Mega actually in Mother because I feel like the Mega evolution really shows the full potential of Altaria, and I really wish that we would just retroactively get it as a third evolution. It also shows why we love Mega Evolution so much and why the conversation of Mega Evolutions keep coming up in girly popology. Lunatone, Solrock, and Claydol, I kind of lump them all together because I have a vivid memory of seeing them all spawn in the same place in Pokemon Emerald. Lunatone and Solrock just are the accessory Pokemon. They're the visual Pokemon. They add that element, that setting. Claydol, I think, made it this far because you can't skip the duel, but in terms of girly popology, when we're really looking at this sort of group of 230 Pokemon, I think that it just sits in okay. Lileep and Cradily, kind of the same as Claydol, except a little bit less of a serve when having to compete against some of these titans. Milotic is Mother, and if you skipped to this part of the video for confirmation, girl, that's like Googling what's 2 plus 2. You already knew the answer. Why are you here? Cast Form looks around. While I love the potential and I love the girl, I think I'm the only one who remembers her season. Absol, mothering for the emos, and if you were born after the year 2000, you cannot participate in this conversation. Thank you. Clamperl is the same statement as Cast Form. I feel like the only one who remembered her season, but objectively, she's a little bit tighter of a girly pop serve than Cast Form is. Gorebeast, okay. Really, really lovely look. Love the gowns, but totally forgotten, right? The reason why Regirock is being put in Mother is because the way that she is carrying the entire Pokemon meme community at this point, I just think that that legacy is going to stand for a very long time. Love Disc is in girly pop, and whenever Game Freak finally decides to give her an evolution, she will probably ascend to Mother. Jirachi is girly pop, and I'm not giving her Mother because she took that one movie deal and ran with it and never came back. Mega Absol is girly pop. Just like Mega Altaria, this is one of those designs artistically that just really stands beyond its gimmick form, and like I said before, if you were born before the year 2000, do not participate in this conversation. Mega Sableye is looks around. We love Mega Evolutions, love Sableye, but we just discussed what an iconic Mega Evolution looks like a Mega Evolution that stands the test of time even after it's been taken out of the Pokemon universe. Sableye, she wasn't giving that much. Boo, new me. I know I look different. That's because I got tired and decided to record the rest another time. So here I am in another time, which means that I can go ahead and say, hi, how are ya? Anyway, let's get started on, I think we left off on Sinnoh. Yeah, I see Kricketune. I mean, we know what's what with Kricketune. Kricketune solidified the notion and feeling that we've had about the bug type since Generation 1. I think that Kricketune really does give a unique serve. It's giving Drag King. It's still very girly pop, but it's also unique in its own way. 1, 2, 3.
Mother.
Yeah, I caught y'all off guard, didn't I? It's that refreshed, revitalized on the second day of shooting this video. Okay, Roserade. I don't think that Roserade really holds up the same way that Roselia does. I think that Roselia really is the star of the evolution tree. So even though Roserade is a mother and another typing, when compared to the other mothers, I think that Roserade is girly pop. Pachirisu, still to this day, still has the same story, still has the same legacy, and when I really think about it, it just ages like fine wine. That's also mother. Sunshine Form Sharon would be mother if she had any representation in the media. We love her, but does anyone else know about her? I think it's just us here. I want to say she's girly pop, but really she's faded into obscurity. I think like if Gorbis, like how gorgeous Gorbis is, how gorgeous Swablu is, how gorgeous like Fanfi even is, can be an okay. I think that Sunshine Form Sharon can also be an okay. When it comes to the Shellos, the little blue baby Shellos, I love the wings, but really the pink factor takes it further. I mean, ask Nicki Minaj. Okay for the blue Shellos. And really for the pink, I just don't think the silhouette really translates the way that it needs to. I'm gonna say that that's okay as well. Blue Gastrodon is also looks around, because in all honesty, I've never really seen a girly pop running a blue Gastrodon, and if you are one of those girls, you're an outlier. You're an outlier. And also congratulations to you, because it is a great Pokemon. It's just not mothering. And pink Gastrodon. For the ground type representation, let's look. Yeah, for the ground type representation, I'm gonna pop her into mother, because she might be the only ground type mother that we will ever get, and it's probably because she's got a little bit of water in her. So Baneri and Lopunny, these are a dynamic duo of really, really favored and treasured and cherished Pokemon. I think that Baneri, let's put Baneri in girly pop. Let's put Lopunny in mother. Mega Lopunny, I'm also going to put it in girly pop. I think that Lopunny itself has aged really well. I think that like Mega Lopunny is one of the Mega Evolutions that really, really takes it further, and it's one that we really like. Like I said with Altaria, I would love to see Mega Lopunny become a third evolution just officially in the tree. We have no idea what's going to happen with Pokemon Legends. Maybe Mega Evolutions will just be a thing in the Legends series. Maybe it's another one-off, but all I'm saying is if Mega Evolutions are coming back, please bring back Lopunny. Miss Magius. Yeah, I'm like looking at the mothers, I'm looking at the girly pops. Yeah, Miss Magius kind of stands alone as the girly pop, the mother really of the ghost type. Let's go ahead and put her in mother. The reason why I say this is like ever since Miss Magius came out, the floodgates of like the subgenre of spooky popology under the girly popology umbrella just opened. Really, when you're looking at the chronology of this moment too, you see what she did. She made it this far into this video, and she's like really the only one here who's like, I mean, Shedinja was there, but Shedinja was more like a bug type, you get what I'm saying? Speaking of which, because Banette was from a previous generation, but its Mega did make it, and since we're on the topic of ghost types, let's go ahead and put Mega Banette in okay. Maybe it's the day that I'm recording this, maybe there's something in the air, but I just feel like Per Ugly kind of does something really valuable for girly popology. She's pushing the envelope in a way that I haven't seen yet. I'm gonna put her and her corset up in mother. Yeah. Bonsly, showing some potential for the rock type. Shout out to that. I think that Bonsly deserves to be in girly pop, yes. Chatot a really fun Pokemon. I love the idea of going back in time and just making my Chatot say the most crazy things and just going online and just seeing what people think about it. When we're doing mother tiering, this is one that just kind of fades. looks around. Her star definitely dims when around other bigger, brighter stars. Weavile kind of feels that way too. Like Sneasel, Weavile, those from those evolution trees of that lineage that have made it into this video, they just don't compare. I'll say that Weavile is okay. Now, Spiritomb has a lot of lovely design, a lot of decoration. The color scheme mixing with that spooky green does do something for me and for the ghost type girl. But is she doing what Miss Magius did? Should I compare her to Miss Magius? I think that I should, because Miss Magius kind of creates a blueprint, a framework for what we can see for like the ghost type girlies in all of this conversation. So for Spiritomb, I'm going to put Spiritomb in okay. Licky Licky, which is really interesting. So crazy that it made it this far. And it doesn't, I'm saying that because I'm not really surprised. Licky Licky is a really girly pop Pokemon. I'm going to put that in girly pop, yeah. I think it's pretty fair to say that Togekiss is mother, right? Mother, yeah. Glaceon? If Umbreon is getting beat out by Espeon, I think that Leafeon's getting beat out by Glaceon with the Bayang, but I don't think that Glaceon is beating out Espeon. Because Espeonka kind of really showed us that Eevee could be mother, like more than just mother. Eevee could rub shoulders with the other mothers. And I think like the most prime mother form of Eevee is probably Espeon, with Glaceon being like a fun alternative. But you know what they say about alternatives? They're in second place. Girly pop, Gallade contributes something to the conversation. Gallade mixes it up. Gallade makes it more ambiguous. But in this moment, in this video, I'm looking for pure girly popness. I'm looking for something more distilled down into something more intentional and direct. And I don't think that Gallade is doing that and having that effect. So Gallade looks around. I'll say that Mega Gallade is okay because, you know, she gave us a little bit of an all-stars adjustment, like a bigger budget on the look, but it's still like the same queen. I just realized that I had some of the mothers cut off, but hi, we're back. Okay, so let's do the Lake Trio. I think that Uxie is okay, Azelf is okay, and Mesprit, I want to say she's girly pop, but she hasn't really done anything for a long time, and she hasn't really done anything for us to remember either. It's okay. It's okay. Like a stronger okay. You know what? Every time I talk about Cresselia, I get the most backlash when I'm like really not giving her flowers. When I'm considering the amount of people who really support her, it's kind of like the same as like Staryu and Starmie. It's like, it's not really my cup of tea, but there is a volume of girly pop researchers who are in the comments giving me their theses. And I have to really consider that as an objective researcher and categorizer of aesthetics. So Cresselia, I'll give her girly pop. How's that? Is that okay? Can I give her girly pop? Moving on to Superior, I can't help but think about the other grass type entries that I've seen already. Superior is really fun, but I don't think that it's really mothering. I just think that it kind of benefits from the framework and foundation that the likes of like Roselia and Bellossom have laid for it. Superior is girly pop. Now, isn't Frostlass in an interesting spot? What have we been talking about with Frostlass lately? I feel like we're so far from Generation 4. I feel like Frostlass is one of those Pokemon that's fading into obscurity, kind of giving like Vileplume almost. Considering the witchiness that Miss Magius has placed into the spooky pop category and how Frostlass attempts to do something really gaggy with both being an ice type and a ghost type, right now I'm putting Frostlass into Mother. I still think that something about her is like so intrinsic to the girly pop experience. Liepard, a serve, a silhouette, a look, but that's really all it is. It's kind of a look queen, and like look queens, they do really well. She definitely became a mother. We need a little bit more. I'm gonna say that Liepard is okay. Oh man, it's getting down to the wire, isn't it? Can y'all see that? I hope y'all can see that. Munna. I love Muna, but is Muna doing anything? Like, really, think about it. Muna is really amazing, and like, I really love Muna. Like, it's one of my favorites. Every time I hit a favorite in the mother tier list, it's so hard for me to make a decision because like, I really have to take all my bias aside. Like, normally when I'm just trying to figure out what is girly pop, my bias really helps me to guide that decision. I'm gonna say that Muna is girly pop and Musharna is okay. Does that make sense? Aldino. I feel like ever since Aldino came out, Chansey's been having an issue, and the reason why Chansey isn't here, I think, is because Aldino is here, right? I'm gonna say that Aldino is a mother, and I think Mega Aldino is girly pop. Aldino's girly pop. Aldino's girly pop. And I think Mega Aldino's mother. I think maybe Mega Aldino is the reason why I love Aldino so much. Oh man, this is really getting difficult. Okay, Levani. Yeah, and Levani's just now recently in Scarlet and Violet really getting her time to shine in the spotlight, and I think that she's really shining in mother territory. Whimsicott. Whimsicott is girly pop. I was thinking that Jumpluff really walked so Whimsicott could run in the mother category, but now that we have so many more mothers showing and so many more girly pops showing, I think maybe like that floating cottonweed Pokemon archetype might just reside only in girly pop. Hisuian Lilligant. I think Hisuian Lilligant is also mother. And now I have to adjust the size again. This is getting really, really big. I'm trying my best. The Pokemon that are making it into Looks Around and Skip, they're getting blocked by my drag, but I mean, they made it this far, they should be happy. The Gothitelle, Gotharita, Gothy line. I think the first two in this situation are actually, first evolution is okay, second evolution is girly pop. I think Gothitelle is mother. I do think that Gothitelle is still a really, really important Pokemon to us as girly pops, and she really like kind of stands as one of the staples. I think that there's no argument there. Hisui and Zorua, I think the gimmick was really fun. I think we still need some time to let that sit. It does say a lot that after Legends, she kind of showed up and like didn't really show out the same way that Hisui and Lilligant kind of is for us. Like the conversation doesn't really revolve around her. I think that both of these are okay.
Somehow, I lost footage of me putting Swanna in okay, but she is in okay. Is that okay? I think she still slays, but today, in the mother off, she's in okay.
Spring Deerling, another just like basic visual queen. Not a lot of legacy there. I'm gonna say that Spring Deerling is Looks Around. No. Spring Deerling is okay. You know what's interesting? Pause.
Wait, where did Swanna go?
The Looks Around really shows a difference between okay. Like really look at that. Look at that. Let me know what you think that difference is. These are really likable Pokemon for girly pop trainers, but when they're put against all the other girly pops, or mothers rather, that we've chosen, like you can see like a distinct change in the design. This video is going to be all over the place, but I really do think that Togepi, now that I'm looking at this, I think that Togepi is a mother. Yeah, I think that Togepi is a mother. I do. Amoonguss and Fungus. I'm gonna put Fungus in Looks Around. I'm gonna put Amoonguss in okay. There's a lot of legacy there, but that's as far as it's gonna go. I think that the Frillish line is also okay. No. Frillish is girly pop and Jellicent is girly pop as well. These are also spooky pops that are trying to do something a little bit new. I do think that their serve is equivalent to what Frostlass has done, you know, like kind of giving, you know, how does the water type express itself in the ghost type? Because, you know, the water type has that girly pop connotation. The ice type has that girly pop connotation. Frostlass was really interesting for us because we got to see what the ice type looked like in the ghost type. Jellicent kind of does the same thing, and I honestly think that it's of equal caliber. But for some reason, as a girly pop collective, we're not really giving the same amount of flowers to Jellicent as we do Frostlass, even though that I think that we could. Maybe going forward we can, and we can later push Jellicent up to mother, who knows. Now Mienfoo, that's Looks Around. I don't really think that that's anything. Mienshao I do think deserves to be mother because Mienshao is finally contributing something for the fighting type that we've been waiting for in girly popology, and I think that alone really gives her a lot of leeway. Like, yes, we did have Mega Lopunny, but Lopunny itself is not considered a fighting type. Like, Mega Lopunny is an adjustment, but the Megas are a gimmick form. I'm thinking about a Pokemon that really stands 10 toes down on the fighting type, and that is Mienshao. I think that Chandelure is also, no. Chandelure is girly pop. Chandelure does a lot of fun for the spooky popness under the girly pop umbrella. But like I said, Miss Magius is the reason why the floodgates opened. And while Gothitelle isn't a ghost type, Gothitelle does follow in the lead of that like witchiness, that girly pop scariness that we're looking for. Chandelure kind of like accessorizes that aesthetic, accessorizes that picture in that tableau, but doesn't really do anything else. I do think that both forms of Meloetta are mother. We've already discussed this, but Meloetta would be one of the Pokemon to help enhance the girly popness of the fighting type. It's a latent potential that's been untapped, and also Meloetta is just an iconic mythical, and it follows in the lead of Mew, as we've said before. The mythicals feel like the girly pop legendaries, and leave it to Meloetta to really put the stamp on that in Generation 5. Fennekin is okay. Braixen is mother. Delphox is girly pop. I finally am able to say it because I've always given my flowers to the full line, but when I finally can split hairs, I just think that Braixen is the better form of it. Volcarona. Can we all accept the fact that Volcarona has made it to mother and like that's all that we really need to do? Like, okay. I personally don't get hypes about Volcarona, and I think it's fair that she's just okay in the mother off. Spupa. One of my biases, I think that this is a really, really wonderful look queen, but that's all that there is to it. Okay. Florges. The red form of Florges is girly pop. I think the white form is also girly pop, as well as the blue form matches a lot of the girly pops up here. Yellow form really adds a pop of color for all the girly pops up here. The orange form really does that too. Is that fair to say that Florges kind of just resides up here really, really well? I just don't think that she deserves girly pop though. She's a gorgeous Pokemon, but like, what else is there to her? Like, if Meganium is down there, if Sharam is down there, then Florges needs to also be down there and okay. It's okay. It's a really great accessory to a girly pop team. The Meow Sticks. Ooh. I'm gonna say that the Meow Sticks are also okay. Dragalge. Dragalge really tries to open a new type of floodgate for the dragon type, but I don't think that she really did. Dragalge's okay. What's up with this like Generation 6 back-to-back okays? Only really got Braixen up there in Mother. Oh, that's interesting. Aurorus. The first evolution, I'll say it's okay, and I'm still gonna stand by this. I think that Aurorus is girly pop. I won't give her mother because I don't think that she's necessarily taken the throne of Lapras, but you can tell, I mean, look at Lapras' face up there. She's very threatened. Sylveon. 1, 2, 3.
Mother.
I think, oh wow, isn't that so cool? And it's like right below Vaporeon. What I was saying earlier is like Eevee is like a really lovable Pokemon from all types of trainers really, but if you're going for girly popness, it's like Espeon or Vaporeon, something like that. I think that it's so fitting that when the fairy type is introduced, Eevee's the one to introduce it, and when we're doing this list, like of course it's Mother. Like there's history there, there's a look there, there's a serve there. And it's also just like a really good addition to the Eevee girly pop story. Dedenne, I'm going to give girly pop. I love Dedenne. Check out the shiny. I don't know if I've mentioned it. You really have to check out the Dedenne shiny. Carbink, I'm going to say is okay. Carbink is a really special Pokemon, but it's just okay in the situation. I do think that Hisui and Gudra itself are both kind of the same. In my head, they feel like the same Pokemon to me. You know what? I think what happened is Gudra noticed that Dragalge was really trying to do something for the girly pops and the dragon type, and they failed. We love it, but objectively Gudra was the better one. I do think that like Gudra itself deserves to be in Mother. I think that like as a pseudo legendary, it really stands on girly pop business for us and really represents us. Hisui and Gudra was just like a really fun flavor, a really fun different alternative look, but I do think that Gudra itself is the more important one. I want to say that Hisui and Gudra kind of feels okay to me. Klefki. I think Klefki is a solid girly pop. I think that Phantump is, let's look at the other like spooky pop additions in girly pop, because I want to put it in girly pop. We've got like Gothitelle in there. I think Phantump is of the same caliber of Gothitelle. I know they're different typings, but I'm like kind of comparing it to like Mega Banette or like Umbreon, things that have like a little bit more of a darker undertone. I do think that Phantump is really giving you something new and different and fun and campy. Pumpkaboo does exactly that, but takes it a step further. Pumpkaboo is Mother, and I know that I've said this before because I mention it every single time I get to talk about Pumpkaboo, but check out the Pumpkaboo shiny. Deontay is Mother. Mega Deontay is also mother. I've been watching a lot of like contest stuff because I've been researching contests because I want to do a full ranking of coordinators or maybe their Pokemon that are featured in contests. I've just been digging into contests, right? I've been seeing these videos of Mega Deontay fighting against Lucia, I think like the big coordinator of Oris. And Deontay was made with us in mind, let's just say that. Poplio is girly pop, Brionne is girly pop, and Primarina is mother. I really love Brionne a little bit more, but I do think that Primarina is just like the Dawn Diva of that. And Primarina, oh gosh, it's really fun seeing like all the mothers back to back, like the chronology of it. How we've gone from like Vaporeon to Azumarill to finally Primarina, you know, like we've been waiting so long for Primarina, and that's why I say Alola is hands down one of the most girly pop generations.
Ow! Yeah! Oh! Bam! Ow! Listen.
Like, you cannot argue it. I don't care if you're like a Gen 1er. I don't care if you started playing Pokemon Sword and Shield first. I don't care if you played Pokemon Black and White first. Generation 7 and Alola is just such an important generation to us. Let's rank the Oricorios. Pau style Oricorio is girly pop to me. Actually, no. Pau style Oricorio is mother to me because Oricorio finally broke the curse of the bird type. You know, I've always said the bird type is so boring, it's so uninspired, it feels like they don't even want to make them. And Oricorio finally makes it interesting. Pom Pom style, I'm going to give that girly pop. I'm actually going to give the rest of them girly pop. I think the Pau style is the most mothery of the four. Ribombee. We're in Alola, right? So it's like none of these are really going to be lower than girly pop, huh? Okay, so Ribombee is girly pop. Marini, I'll say Marini is okay and Toxapex is okay. Lurantis is girly pop. Salazzle is girly pop. Beware is fighting type. It's also part of the bear lineage. That's a really important girly pop, isn't it? We said this about Beware, like Beware really does represent its camp. It does. It has a camp that it represents. It has a tribe it represents. And I think it's the only one that really is representing it. Its mother. So I'm sorry for the girls who have bad eyesight. I'm doing my best to give y'all visuals. I will do my best in post as well. But we have more than 230 Pokemon to put on this tiny little ranking list. So let's keep it going because we're almost done. Hang in there. Boonsweet is okay. Second evolution, I don't know what it is. Serene. I'll say that she's girly pop and Serena is mother. Actually, let's go back. Let's go back and do that one together because I know that y'all want to do that one together. 1, 2, 3.
Mother.
Serena, ever since she came out, ever since she debuted, she's been speaking for herself through action. I don't think that I really have to rationalize this one at all. Mimikyu is also going to get mother. Mimikyu does something really interesting for girly pops. I do think that Mimikyu is kind of like an all-rounder in the sense that like you don't have to be girly pop to like it. Everybody loves Mimikyu, but Mimikyu has a serve that like digs deeper than just the surface level. Like it's participating in the story that Miss Magius is trying to tell. It's also participating in the story of like the mascots and being an anti-mascot, the Pika clones and things like that. I don't know, it really says something that every time Halloween is out, Mimikyu is the girl on the cover of the magazine. Mimikyu is the one who's selling the merch for Halloween. Like it's just like she found her lane and she very strongly rides at full speed in it. Bruxish. We gave her flowers and that is why she's here. I'm gonna say that Bruxish, you know what? Bruxish is a mother. She is. If there's any group of people that are going to be using, running, loving, and praising Bruxish, it's us. And if we've gotten this far into our, I want to say brain rot, if we've gotten this far into our brain rot that we're doing this video, it would be wrong to not put Bruxish in any place but mother. Tapu Lele, girly pop. Pheromosa, 1, 2, 3, mother. Magearna. This one's difficult for me. I don't think that Magearna really has much of an impact. I'm gonna say that she's okay. She's okay. Applin In this situation, Applins looks around. No, Applin's okay. It's very weak. Like it's fun when you have to weed and sift through other Pokemon, but when you have only girly pops at your disposal, and like think about this, it's a list of at least 230 Pokemon. It's like a Pokédex in itself. If you had a girly pop Pokédex, Applin would be one of the weaker entries. Appleton, I think that Appleton is girly pop in this situation. I think that Appleton is kind of riding on the coattail of what Goodra did. I think that Goodra is the reason why Appleton can exist. Sinistea, first evolution, okay. Second evolution is girly pop. It's girly pop. I'm thinking about the aesthetics and the types of ghost type trainers that would run Sinistea. Let's be real. It's only the girly pops that really are out here going for Sinistea. And then I think about the shiny and it's like all pink and stuff like that. Like Sinistea is a Tea Party ghost type. Patina Turner is girly pop. Hatterene is girly pop, and Hatterene is mother. Hatterene is like not necessarily my favorite Pokemon of all time. She's definitely participating in Miss Magius's story, and I think that she's finally like finding the footing, like the full pastel gradient up and down, the witch silhouette, the campy Pokédex entry in the way that its like actual physiology is, the way that it's juxtaposed to Grimmsnarl. It debuts in this like sort of cottagecore, creepy, like psychedelic forest. Like, I don't know, there's something so special about Hatterene. And I think like we're going to see her impact in the next few generations. I'm interested to see what the next witch Pokemon is after Hatterene. Gigantamax Hatterene, I'm bored of it, skip. I feel like at this point, when I'm looking at this list and like I'm thinking about all the comments that I read and all of the opinions that I field and just like really looking at things through a girly pop lens, I feel like I'm the only one out here to bat for Cursula.
There can be 100 people in the room and 99 don't believe in you, and you just need one to believe in you, and that was him. So
I'm gonna put her in okay. I'm gonna put her in okay because I feel like I want this to represent the consensus, but I just wish that Cursula got a little bit more love. Let's be real, Alcreamie's a mother. Alcreamie really is a mother, and like I say this because like right after Alcreamie, we got like that crazy Gigantamax form. We have all of those different forms. People love getting the different forms of Alcreamie. It's just sweet. It's girly pop coded. It really just leans full in to girly popology, and like literally the generation right after we got like Darkspun. That's impact. I think that Frostmoth is okay. I think Frostmoth is okay. Frostmoth is too new and hasn't really done anything. And by its like nature, it's way more like relaxed and reserved and in the background. Maybe later we'll get like a regional or some sort of gimmick form that like might wake us up to it, might energize us, just like start talking about it and like creating fan theories around it. But right now, Frostmoth is like really pretty, really cute. We all caught it, and then that was it. Indeedee, kind of the same story. I'm gonna put them both in okay. Morpeko. I think Morpeko made it here because the dark type tier list was like a really interesting conversation. It really went into like a different zone. But I don't think that Morpeko, especially like when it's like up against things like Alolan Raichu and Mimikyu, which I personally consider to be like a non-canon Pika clone. There's other dark types like Zigzagoon that have done some things. I don't really see what she's doing here. I'm gonna put them in looks around. Sneasler, I'm gonna put Sneasler in looks around too. Quaxly is girly pop and Quaquaval is girly pop. The reason why I'm not giving Quaquaval mother is because Mienshao is kind of doing the mother thing for the fighting type. Meloetta kind of comes in to just like, you know, show out a little bit after Mienshao opens those gates. Primarina, I still feel like stands at the top of being representative of the most girly pop water type. I think that Quaquaval is interesting, but like after Scarlet and Violet came out and after the dust settled, the fanfare around Primarina is still much greater than the fanfare around Quaquaval. Still a really strong girly pop, but let's be real who the queen is. Tandemaus. I mean, there's a lot of normal types here, right? That are like doing way more. I think Tandemaus is really fun and cute and eclectic, and we love having it in like our girly pop decks that I guess we've like made an unofficial girly pop decks here, but I do think that it's maybe one of the weaker ones. I'm gonna put that in looks around. Darkspun is okay. Dolive is definitely a girly pop. That's just still such a standout Pokemon. A really great addition to any team. Espathra, girly pop. Yeah, she's got the Gaga Bob. Tinky 1 is okay. Tinky Tinky 2 is girly pop because she gets the Ariana pony. And then Tinky Tinky 3, I do think that Tinky Tinky 3, Tinkaton, deserves to be mother. Tinkaton, I do think has the potential to get knocked down, but right now that novelty is really, really fresh. They went so hard into girly popness. It's so funny that she's right beside Alcremie because Alcremie kind of did the same thing, that we really still love it, you know? The Dunsparce, I'm gonna say is okay. Screamtail is really gimmicky. Screamtail is like a fun joke of Jigglypuff, and I think that I feel even more confident in saying that Jigglypuff is the stronger one of her evolution tree because of all the Pokemon. Igglybuff, Wigglytuff, and Jigglypuff, they chose Jigglypuff's silhouette to make an iteration and a gimmick form off of Jigglypuff's silhouette because they know that Jigglypuff is the diva of the three. Screamtail is okay. I think it's finally time for us to like acknowledge that the dust around the Paradox Pokemon has settled. Screamtail is okay. Really fun. If any Pokemon is on this list, they're already giving, you know? Farigiraf. Farigiraf is looks around to me, and I'm gonna say that Iron Valiant, a shiny Iron Valiant is my main shiny hunter, and I do think like the story of how like the Ralts line is like this evolution of emotional intelligence. They all have like a different thing that they represent about like psychology and emotions and the power of wielding that, and they also play a lot on like feminine and masculine silhouettes, and the way they mix that together in Iron Valiant I think is so interesting to see. But because it's a Paradox Pokemon, we don't get to keep it. We don't get to like move on with it in our collection as trainers. It's kind of like something that only exists in Scarlet and Violet and that region. You know what? I think it's girly pop. It's girly pop. So that is the Mother Off. Thank you all so much for sticking with me on this long journey. I think it took us like 3 or 4 months, but it's been a total blast. Whatever you're up to next, I hope it goes by super well. I won't keep you for any longer because I think this video is going to be quite a long one. But I do hope the next thing that you're up to is super fun and good. And I will see you next time. Bye.